Walk with me, I'll take you to the portal or whatever.
Hello. Alright, so when it comes to the concept of time, you know what I mean? It's something that just never stops. You know, time goes on for forever, and as long as time continuously keeps going, things are going to continuously keep changing, or in, the cases of today's video, keep going in a circle. And when it pertains to music, you know what I mean? If there's one thing about it is that even if things change or even if things stay the same, the people from the times beforehand are still always going to find a way to complain about the things that might have seemed as if they changed. And when it comes to hip hop, I see this shit happen way too much, even for my own good. And I mean, I'm mainly seeing it starting off happening in usually like 2015 to like 2017, I feel like was like the jump for it. You know, you had guys like Cardi, Uzi, Yachty kind of come out, and now everybody kind of wanted to follow up in the jump, and then it's like, while at the same time you had a lot of younger audiences, really feeling them, such as myself, you know what I mean? You also had a lot of old heads, especially within the rap game, starting to criticize the hip hop scene, you know what I mean? Saying, oh, hip hop is dying just because, oh, Lil Uzi is popular now, you know what I mean? Feeling as if the quality of hip-hop has greatly digressed, when in reality I feel like it only has gotten better, personally. If anything, I feel like the quality of music nowadays has only improved. As I said before, right? Time is a circle, at the end of the day. And when it comes to music, especially when it comes to hip-hop, the things that I'm seeing now in hip-hop is no different than the stuff that I saw back in the early 2000s in hip-hop, back when a lot of these old heads' favorite rappers was around. It's just the only difference is, one, the audience is catering to now, and two, the way that they're going about it. I mean, because like when it comes, to getting big in music, when it comes to the music industry in general, when it comes to, album sales and Billboard charts and all that extra shit, I mean, the one main aspect that artists are going to be focusing on when it comes to trying to make these achievements is this song bumping or not. You know what I mean? Like, you can make all the conscious rap you want to. You can make all the quote-unquote real rap you want to. All this stuff rapping about reality or whatever. But I mean, conscious rap can only sell so far. I think Lupe Fiasco is a perfect example of that. If we all remember his album Lasers that came out like years ago, it had that one song on it, The Show Goes On. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of hates that song. That album was also pure dog shit, but it was also his most commercially successful project he's ever made. Why? Because he sold out. He made the shit that resonated with the younger audience, you know what I mean? Even though Lupe, I feel, was like the pretense for guys like Kendrick Lamar, he still had to realize that, if he's trying to, make a more fulfilling career for himself and, cash out on good checks, he has to make the things that has to cater to young audiences. The same thing could be applied for any modern rapper today that's more in a mainstream light. I mean, you're not going to be seeing Cardi rap about the socio-economical state of the United States, you know what I mean? You're not going to be seeing Uzi talk about like gender fluidity. I don't really think either one of these guys give a shit about either one of those topics. You know what I mean? Even when it comes to the cases of like J. Cole, I mean, everybody knows 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I feel like that was that album that kind of really helped kickstart J. Cole into a more mainstream light without him seeming as corny. 2014 Forest Hills Drive was, one of those albums that, a lot of people kind of resonated with simply because of how easily digestible it was, and it didn't seem as preachy, most of his other albums, such as like Born Sinner or I can't even think of another J. Cole album. I feel so bad. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, right, because the topic of this video right now, right, is hip-hop isn't dying, right? You are dying. I am dying. We're getting older, right? Time is moving past us, man. You either get with it, right, or you just get left behind, man.
Call on Astro Black whenever and I'll come bless the cat.
And when it comes to, old heads constantly trashing on, the new wave, the new generation of rappers and whatever, it's like, you're just punching at a brick wall, man. You know what I mean? You were acting like as if the artists that you were bumping back then just magically disappeared one day. Like they just don't exist. Like they got Thanos snapped and like that's just it for their entire life. Those guys are still on streaming. You can still listen to these artists. You can still bump their shit every day in a fucking cassette player if you wanted to. Nobody's going to stop you, dude. I still listen to some older rappers. You know what I mean? Every now and then I might bump a little Jay-Z. Every now and then I bump a little Nas. So it's like, this stuff isn't gone. It's not like lost in time. These are still certified hood classics from some of the most prolific artists within the game, that you could still listen to right now if you wanted to. Nobody's stopping you. To constantly criticize the newer generation and constantly criticize, the younger audiences for wanting to get into the new generation of rappers, I feel like that is dumb. I feel like it's narrow-minded, and I also just feel like you're being lazy, because it's like, it costs nothing to actually dive deep and look for the artists, that would more tap into the more old school sound. I mean, you've got guys like Jid, you got guys like Freddie Gibbs, you got the whole like Griselda shit, man, with Benny the Butcher and Stove God Cooks. If you want the old sound, it's still there, dude. There's so many rappers out there nowadays that tap into the older sound, you know what I mean, on that boom bap stuff, still working with the sample stuff like that. If you want that more lyrical, spiritual, miracle, lyrical bullshit, you can still get it today. Nobody's stopping you, dude. You just need to look. Like, it is literally just you needing to look. I'm sorry you don't know how to work Apple Music, bro, but I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sorry you don't know what Last FM is, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you, dude, but please, when you constantly criticize the new generation, all it just shows is that you're just an older dude who's bitter about the times that are changing. Things are moving past us, man. Nowadays, with the public perception of hip-hop, like, because it's like the perception of hip-hop has always, in a sense, been negative when it comes to like the more wider mainstream media shit. People have always seen as like a bad thing, that like these minorities, like, in like, it causes gang violence and whatever, blah blah blah, you know what I mean? Real scary ass white people shit, no offense, but like, I also kind of feel like it's hip-hop's fault too, to why hip-hop has this perception now more than ever, because these old heads also in the game, you know what I mean, have also criticized the younger rappers, you know what I mean? Joe Budden, when he shat on Lil Yachty in the interview, or when Snoop Dogg shat on Migos in an interview. You know what I mean? Y'all are not helping the cause for the game. And then you know what's so funny about these people, these old heads within the game who shit on the younger dudes? They are now more invested in the younger dudes now more than ever. Because they know there's a profit in the game now. You know what I mean? They know there's I'm sorry. Like, they've realized now that the times have passed them. They got to be able to profit off of this sound somehow. So now they're the ones signing guys. They're the ones, working with the labels and stuff like that. They're the ones that's co-signing artists. They're the ones that's making these promos and doing these collaborations for these younger guys, because they know, hey, we got to keep the cash flow, even if we don't really give a shit about the sound that comes with it, right? Aside from that aspect, right? One thing I've had to realize, right, is not everything is for me. Not everything is meant to be for me. Not everything is meant to resonate with me. Not everything is meant to, like, be part of my audience just because it was something I indulged in at one point. I mean, prime example, right? Just to steer away from music, let's take cartoons, for example. I used to love watching cartoons growing up. You know what I mean? I used to watch like Adventure Time all the time. I literally watched Adventure Time from its very first episode all the way to its last episode, and all the other extra spin-off shit, you know what I mean? And I never missed not one episode. I love Adventure Time, but we're not going to talk about Adventure Time today. We're going to talk about another show called Teen Titans Go. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's like this like spin-off-y kind of redo of the OG Teen Titans, right? And instead, it takes a more lighter, more slapstick approach to the entire show. It's a lot more joke heavy. The character designs are a lot more quirky, a lot more silly. The episode structures aren't as serious as the 2003 Teen Titans was. Now, for the older Teen Titans fans, they all hate this show. You know what I mean? Even I was like that kind of at one point. I didn't really feel Teen Titans Go, because I thought, oh, well, why don't they just bring back the OG Teen Titans? This is stupid. It's not fair. Crying like a fucking child. But then once I realized that, like, maybe this show just wasn't meant for me. So why am I, like, crying about it? You know what I mean? Like at that point, that whole entire issue kind of just cleared away from me, because I had to realize this it's not for me. The times have moved way past me. A show from 2003, if they don't revive it, they don't revive it. That's just what it is, man. I bring this up because it's just like, as I said before, the times have passed you, man. Music in general is so ever changing. And to say that hip hop is dying or it ain't like how it used to be, man. Maybe that's just how shit goes, dude. Things tend to change, man. And in today's era of music, people have become so musically eclectic, and there's so many different sounds to hip hop. You're not really going to be missing out on anything, and nothing's ever really going to be lost to you either. You know what I mean? If you want the sound of the good old days, you can find that. If you want to find something different, you can also find that too. But, sit here with, what seems to be kind of honestly a pretty bitter attitude about the fact that it's moved beyond you now. I feel like that is both equally dumb, and I feel like it is just, I said it before, it's narrow-minded. It's like those people who complain about how there's no new games to play when all they do is indulge in like NBA 2K or Call of Duty. Like, dude, you only play 2 fucking games. How would you ever know anything else is out there? You're so heavily focused on the mainstream mindset that it's just preventing you from ever actually wanting to put any effort to look for anything different. And at that point, that really is your problem. There's so many different sources out there to be able to find new music that could even resonate with the older sound that you're used to, but you're just actively refusing it because it's a lot more convenient for you to be able to criticize the modern mainstream. And honestly, once again, at that point, that is your problem. Like, am I spitting or not right now? Am I spitting or not? Put a thumbs up in the comments if I'm fucking spitting right now, because I feel like I am right now. And I'm not spitting in my mask, I swear. In conclusion, alright, time moves on from you. Time moves on from me. You just gotta learn to respect it. And if you can't do it, then just be able to at least search it through. Alright? There's so many different sources to be able to look for different artists nowadays. There's so many different sounds within hip-hop nowadays. If you're missing that old boom bap style, whatever, there's so many different rappers for that nowadays. There's so many people in the game for that nowadays, dude. Just go to albumoftheyear.com, Last.fm. You could check Reddit or some bullshit, even though I wouldn't recommend it. People on Reddit can be very pretentious about music. Do something other than complain. Nothing changes when you complain. Alright? Seriously, nothing changes when you complain. You want the old sound, go look for the old sound. Now I have to go because 1, I'm hungry, and 2, it's cold and I need to put my thermostat up. I'm gonna catch y'all boy later. Praise Allah. I'm out. Well, that's all, folks. It's time for me to go do something important like dodging taxes or running a pyramid scheme. But if you liked the video, feel free to subscribe as well. Follow my IG on Twitter and follow Chocolate on Instagram for more illustrations. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time when I rant on why pineapple actually does belong on pizza. Peace.